Hey gang. So we were chatting after class and realized that the flip chart with the parking lot questions is still unanswered. And we know you said, oh, you can come to a show, you can ask at the booth, etc., etc. And you may not have time, especially those of you at home that are not at the show. You can't kind of come to the booth when you're not here. So let's go ahead and chat with the educators from class and get those leftover parking lot questions answered for you, the nail professional, so that we come full circle with the whole class. Now flick around to your classroom. Hi, Lynn.
Hey.
Christina Sandin.
Hey.
Christina Estabrooks.
Hey.
Whoop, whoop. She's our boss. Heads up. Don't make me look bad in front of my boss. Watch the video and put little hearts and stuff, okay? All right. So one of the parking lot questions that we're missing is Vinylux viscosity. Which one of you would like to take that bad boy?
I love it, actually.
All right.
We talked a little bit about this in class and Vinylux viscosity, especially Dr. Dave piped up and talked about formulation, the fact that Vinylux is an 8.5 minute dry time product. Whenever you try to make something dry faster, you take some of the solvents out. Whenever you're using polish and there isn't solvents in there and you're constantly opening up the bottle or dipping back in, it changes the viscosity of it. Now the second part of this question is it varies from color to color. So again, keeping in mind the fact that it's a fast dry top coat, the solvents evaporate very quickly. And then you add things like micas and glitters and pigments to create opacity, it's all gonna change the way the product feels. So you're gonna be able to feel different types of what we call viscosity. The difference between the thinness and the thickness of a product is normal. You have something that is going to be something like what Holly's wearing, which has a lot of glitter.
Ooh, sparkles.
There's a lot of glitter in that. It's going to feel different, and the solvents are going to evaporate. It's going to get thick faster. Make sure you take extra special care of those types of bottles. Keep the neck clean. Make sure on the inside of the cap you're keeping that clean. Make sure it's nice and tight. Don't over tighten it because then you'll strip the threads and then you won't have any seal to it. And keep it in a cool, dark area.
Thank you. How about when we get a brand new bottle of shellac, Christina, and it is cured in the bottle and I take it out and the brush is stuck in there and it's like goo?
So if the brush is stuck together but the product's fine, keep in mind that when our brushes are shipped, there's a little bit of packaging material in there. So simply take a hands down pad, the plastic backside, and break that packaging material up on that pad. Now let's just say you have a bottle and the product is completely cured. Please call our hotline and let them know, 1-800-833-NAIL, and they'll be able to help with that. But please don't throw it away because they're going to need the bottom batch number. There's a little number on the bottom of the bottle. Make sure you keep that bottle. They'll want to know what that is.
And did you realize, I heard Dr. Dave talking about something really interesting, just to like throw this in because that matched. So people that are getting their shellac or Vinylux or what have you on Amazon and eBay, something that he mentioned is counterfeit or fakes will not have batch codes.
Correct.
So make sure that we're looking. Yes, everybody's nodding.
You should also always buy your product from an authorized distributor to make sure that it's authentic.
Yay! Yay! All right. The next thing is solar speed spray. Someone asked in class, are we supposed to use solar speed spray to speed things up or not? And is it going to cause issues?
Yes. Well, it's not going to cause any issues. Solar speed spray is formulated to help draw the solvent in nail polish to the surface to help it dry faster. And it also has the conditioning benefits of solar oil in it. So you're getting a 2-for-1. I don't see anything wrong with using it, and it's not going to cause your polish to chip.
I think the only catch would be a lot of people will spray as soon as they're done polishing and they're not reading the instructions and waiting the 60
so then
seconds.
It will bubble? Right.
Would you agree?
Because if you hold it here and you go, then yeah, you're probably gonna see a few bubbles. It's not gonna be a good situation, and you're gonna have to repolish that.
Yes.
But if you wait 60 seconds and back away about 12 inches and just give them a light spritz, they don't need a bath, just a light spritz. That's all you really need.
And just a quick social media point, which I guess that. Just a quick social media point, if you lightly spritz the nails with solar speed spray instead of rubbing in a lot of solar oil, they make for much better pictures for your Instagram or your Facebook. to you guys. Rescue RX.
What's the parking lot for that?
So there was someone who was talking about, she had a client who she feels needed to go without shellac for a period of time because she had white spots. So she would just tell them that we're just going to leave it off, and then you can use solar oil in the meantime, and then we'll put it back on
she
for
was
a special.
buffing
And she
up
was
to a high
buffing,
shine.
and there was
Okay.
all kinds of
Can I
stuff.
take that? Because I had a client, I had a nail professional that came into the back also.
Oh, okay.
With another question on top of that.
Sure.
Which was, can I put Rescue RXX over shellac and over color? So I think that it really addresses all of these issues. And if that is what does Rescue RXX actually do? It is actually a keratin deposit. Now you can think of this a couple different ways. You can think of this as like potholes in the road where literally a piece of that tar has come off, just like the nail plate. You can think of this as pockets in bread where you're missing the keratin. However you want to use it, they're like little holes or little pockets in the nail plate that are missing keratin. Or with white spots, maybe that keratin has just kind of flaked away and it's not bonded together. So what Rescue RXX does is it actually goes in and deposits keratin onto the natural nail plate. Now, if you have color, whether it be nail polish, shellac, or enhancements, how is that keratin supposed to get a deposit to the nail plate if there's a color coating? You cannot have a color coating on there for Rescue RXX to work. So if you take off the color coating and you apply Rescue RXX, 2, 3, 4, you can apply it as many times as you want because every single time you use it, you're depositing keratin to the natural nail plate. Now, when we have our clinical studies, we applied it 2 to 3 times a day, and we saw amazing results in 1 week and even better results in 2 weeks. Now, imagine if you applied Rescue RXX every hour. You could probably cut down the time that you had to leave color off your nails down to a week or less, because it will actually repair and replace that keratin in the natural nail plate. No need for buffing, no need to leave it off for 2 weeks, no need to try to counteract that with solar oil, because sometimes the reality of it is, sometimes our clients come to us with damage in their nails and we have to repair that to make a great foundation, as KT said in the beginning, so that our enhancements, our color can last.
What would be the steps for application on Rescue?
Great question, Holly. Apply it to the natural nail, rub it in, and leave it. Do not wash your hands for 30 minutes because it takes that time for it to deposit. Just leave it on the natural nail.
And I would like to add, it smells amazing.
Right, it smells like cotton candy.
It smells like cotton candy.
It's so hard not to lick it.
Don't lick it. Don't lick it. Please don't lick it.
I'm sure it would taste nasty, but oh my gosh, it smells like I just want to lick it. Right. And the next thing we have on the flip chart is color fading.
Color fading.
I'll take it.
You probably wrote the sheet of science that I have that I pass out for that.
Color fading can happen in many different ways, and I think the biggest thing that we have to remember is if you were to take a $60, $160, a $3,060 piece of article of clothing and set it in sunlight for days on end, what will happen? Because it's pigment, it's gonna fade. People protect the dash of their cars. People protect their hair by using color protectant shampoos and conditioners. They put hats on. Color fades with sunlight. So that is one of the things. If you live in a climate where you're constantly out in the sun and you're putting sunscreen on your hands, you're in chlorine, you could potentially experience color fading. Why? Well, shellac, nail polish, and even enhancements can break down with the ingredients that are in sunscreen, with chlorine, because what it does is it breaks down that top layer, that coating that protects the color from fading. So once you break down that layer, it's exposed to sunlight, and guess what happens to the pigment? It starts to fade out. So it's always really important that if you're going to put sunscreen on, try to keep it away from the color on your fingernails, because guess what? You're not going to get any type of damage right there from the sun, except for fading. The other thing, one of the things in class client just had one, just one nail.
Just one.
So I would really ask that client what it is that they're doing with that just one. And what I mean by that is it could be makeup application, it could be perfume, it could be essential oils. I do a lot of essential oils. I do a lot with my hands around home. If anybody follows me on my personal Facebook, you'll know that I'm into everything, repairing things. These 2 fingers, I have just two that break down. And that's because these are the 2 fingers that I use for cleansing when I'm working with the cows, when I'm giving medicine. Any of those, they're the 2 fingers that get it the most, and they fade. The color fades on those. So I get it. Last but not least, if you're experiencing severe color fading on every single person, and they all have different types of lifestyles, that's when you call the hotline.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Stick in the bottle. Was that shellac or Vinylux?
I think that
think it
almost
was
goes along with
Shellac, actually.
Viscosity.
It's
Yeah.
viscosity.
I think we pretty well
So
answered
we
it
talked about it
Viscosity.
with Vinylux, but we did touch on it in class with shellac. If you find that your shellac is really thick in the bottle, you need to shake it vigorously before you open it.
From the
more
first
you open
time.
it, from the very first time, make sure you're actually putting it where your clients can't reach it, because you know what they like to do when you're not looking? They like to go over behind your station and they open up the bottles and they do this. Pump, 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 pump.
Yes, like
They
it's
do it,
mascara.
and then
I
they
know.
take it and they put it on their nail, and they're like, I don't like that color, and they put the cover back on, and they grab another color, and they do it again. So, if you're just opening it and you're not shaking it vigorously from the start, from the middle of it, I don't care when, because it's good to the last drop, then it's going to get really thick. And it's
Really,
gonna be
really quick, I
troublesome.
just want to add on to that.
Sure.
When shellac and Vinylux sit on the shelf for a
Yeah.
long period of time, what happens is the solvents rise to the top and the pigments settle to the bottom. That's just a natural occurrence. You're going to see it more in the thicker, darker colors, more in glitters. It's the weight of the product. So if the solvents are at the top and you open the bottle, what's going to happen to the solvents?
Out they go.
Out they go. So that's why Lynn says shake it from the first time, because if you lose those solvents right away, guess what? You can't get them back. That's the challenge. So shake it first. Make sure those solvents are completely blended right from the start.
And also, if you are storing your shellac, make sure on a rack, make sure that it's not by a really hot sunny window, because that can thicken it up as well. Or for those nail pros that travel to go see other clients, make sure that you're not leaving it in your car on a super hot sunny day, because that could also thicken it up. So my suggestion is, once you finish a bottle of shellac, don't throw it away. Use it for your rack. That way when your clients go into their bottle
Right?
and they
Oh,
try
that's
to
such a
play
good
with
trick.
it, it's empty. So
That is
all
a
the bottles
glorious,
that I
amazing
display
trick.
are
smart.
empty.
You're so smart.
We
That's
love
a great
you.
idea.
love you.
I
It is
love
a
it.
good idea.
Oh my
That's
God.
brilliant.
It is.
I'm going to use that all the time.
All right, people, I want to see some hearts and thumbs up on that. That's a really good idea. Lumpy Breeza. Who wants to cover that?
So I
First
feel
off, leaving it in the car.
right, it's probably
I
going to
think it's
happen.
definitely a heat issue.
Do you think it's a
From-
heat
it
issue?
could-
Some of
I
it,
think
yes.
I think it could be a couple of different things. It could be a heat issue, because I've personally experienced that, leaving my demo kit in the car when it's 100 degrees outside for like 4 days, whatever.
And then I got a
Because
demo
I'm
kit
human.
order.
I'm a human being, right? And so I'm imperfect, and I do imperfect things sometimes. Anyways, but a lot of times I find that nail professionals work with Breeza right next to their lamp.
I find the same thing.
And the UV light from the lamp, of course, is going to cure the product in the jar and give you lumpy Breeza.
And remember, our new LED lamp has that opening in the back. So when you see that ray of light, make sure that all of your product and your brushes are not in that ray of light.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something that happened when you got the product originally, once again, call our hotline and let them know.
And stay away from those beautiful open windows that you just redid in your salon and got clean, because guess what? Those lights will come in and they'll cure it right in the bottle where you're working as well.
Absolutely. I did my cousin's toes out on the deck at her house, and the sunlight cured my shellac while I was trying to work with it.
Nice.
The bottles were junk. I'm like, you owe me some new bottles of shellac.
Oh, that's awful. But
Right.
you know,
Right?
it's
And
true.
Was he talking about the white being lumpy in the jar or on the nail?
I
I'm
actually
not
think
sure.
he might have been talking about when he was applying it, so it could have been
An
it could have
application
been,
issue.
right, an application
Right.
issue. If he was getting hills and valleys.
Right, he could have been gripping his brush a little bit too high instead of like frosting a cake or making those slow methodic motions with the breeze.
Right, or it could have been in that ray of light during the
Yeah.
last cure.
Or he could have actually been pressing down too hard and actually just be making contact with the nail plate, and the product, will come up around it, and then it will leave you with that uneven surface.
That's the thing.
There's so many.
That's the thing with troubleshooting is, you really have to ask a lot of questions. I know, again, we didn't get to a lot of the answers because there's so many questions, so many great ways and so many different ways that these challenges can be answered. And that's why we have to always take it back to first those 4 things, which is nail preparation,
Yep.
application, home care, and maintenance. And if we can't answer it with one of those, then we have to take a look at packaging, batches, exterior environmental elements. So, start with those 4 things for troubleshooting, and then work away from that to find the, some other challenges if you're meeting those.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I hope that helped answer all of the rest of your questions. If you have any remaining questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get to them over the next couple of days. Thanks for joining.